If you're over 45 and God's called you to business, but you're stuck in planning, you find yourself spinning your wheels, you're wandering in the wilderness, I need you to understand something. You don't need another motivational video. What you need is a framework. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through my proven 6-step foundational framework that will take you from, I know I'm called, to, I know exactly what to build. You see, this is the missing piece between your calling and your first dollar. Let's dive in. Number one, you got to believe that you have a gift that can change the world, that can change your world financially. The Bible says that he gives us the power to get wealth so that way he can establish his covenant. He made a promise to Abraham, and we are the carriers of that promise. Number two, you have to believe that there are people out there with the money and the resources to invest in your solution. So as a repeat, you got to believe you got a talent that can change the world. Two, you got to believe that there are people out here who are willing to pay money to solve that problem. And then number three, you got to believe that there are people out there with the money and resources that are willing to pay you to solve that problem. That last part is important, that you got to believe that they're willing to pay you 4 to 5 figures to solve that problem. Your mindset is so important. That is the baseline. That is what everything else is built on. Because there's a saying, I forget who said it, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. Ain't nothing but a biblical principle. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Foundational stuff, mindset. Now, here are the 6 steps, the 6 things that you need clarity on in order to be profitable with your purpose, in order to earn money online as a believer. And here they are. I call it my absolute clarity framework, my position to profit. So the first thing you got to do, you got to figure out, what problem do you solve? Your skill set, your life experiences, what problem does that solve for the marketplace? And see, all problems are not created equal. You got to figure out what is a painfully profitable problem that you can solve. Then from there, you got to figure out, what is the outcome? What outcome do you deliver? Because if I'm being transparent with you, your business is a transportation company, no different than Delta or Amtrak or Greyhound or Uber or Lyft. If you were to go right now and open up the Lyft app on your phone, it's going to ask you where you want to go. And see, when you want to make money online, you have to understand, what is your flight path? What is your flight pattern? What is your destination? Where are you taking people to? You got to be clear on that. That's the outcome. Once they pay you and follow your process, they'll be at a new destination. So if you're Delta, once somebody buys a ticket from DC to Chicago, they know that their transaction is finished once they end up in Chicago. But that pilot knows on flight 747 that we are going to start here in DC and we're going to end in Chicago. You have to have that same clarity with your business, with your idea. That is the outcome. Next, who are the people? Who are the people that value that outcome? Who are the people that value this outcome because they have this painfully profitable problem? So let's review. Problem, outcome, people. What problem do you solve? What outcome do you provide? And who are the people? Now, people, I'm going to do a separate video on your people, because you want to talk to Pinnacle Patty, not Bottom Feeder Betty. You want to find the people who have the money, the resources, and the urgency to get this outcome because they have that problem and they're willing to pay you for it. Next, what is your Messiah messaging? I call it Messiah messaging. You need a message that's going to attract these people because they want this outcome because they have this problem. Your Messiah messaging is what Jesus did. He said, come to me all. Now, you would think he was talking to everybody, but he started off, come to me all. He was wide with it. And then he said, those who are burdened and heavy laden. So he went from wide to narrow. That's why you got to figure out what problem you solve and the outcome you provide. Because that Messiah messaging is going to call them out. You have to craft your Messiah messaging. Come to me all who are what? What problem do you solve? What problem are they experiencing? What are their symptoms? You got to be clear on their symptoms. That goes into your messaging. That's part of the Messiah messaging. Come to me all who are what? Burdened and heavy laden. And I'll what? I'll give you rest. That is the outcome. That is the outcome. Now, the question becomes, how do you package this stuff up? You need a package to present to the people. And that's what the offer does. Your offer is how you present it. So if you're going from DC to Chicago, how are they going to get there? Is it first class? Is it coach? Is it business class? That is the offer. That is the packaging of the transformation. That is what somebody actually buys. Then the last thing you got to have is your method. How are you going to cash out? How are you going to get paid? What is your business model actually? Are you doing one-on-ones? Are you doing group? Are you doing digital products? How are you going to get paid? How are you delivering that transformation? What is your actual model? Those are the questions that you need to answer in order to earn money online. If you're missing any one of these, it's going to be tremendously, exponentially harder for you to make money online. It really is. All right, so now you understand my absolute clarity framework. But listen, knowing the framework and understanding the framework to be able to implement it are two different things. So what I want you to do next is somewhere over here, I want you to watch the next video where I'm breaking down in great detail how to describe, to identify the problem that you're actually called to serve. Because if you get this wrong, everything else falls apart. I'll see you in the next video. Woo!